In this video, I'll give you an overview of the Google Earth interface. We'll learn how Google Earth works. We'll look at some features in Google Earth. Even if you've used Google Earth before, it should be interesting. So I'm starting out in the search panel, which is in the upper left. The search works much the same as any internet mapping engine like Google Maps or Yahoo Maps or anything. I can put in a location even if I don't know the zip code or anything like that. It will fly me to it. It will put a result in blue below the search box. I can refine my search if I want, so I've put in Westfield, Massachusetts. Now I'm going to put in an address in Westfield, and if I hit the search button, a little magnifying glass, it actually adds a second result, so I can skip back to my previous result if I want to. If I click on a result, notice I can get directions to and from that location. I can also manually get directions to and from a location by clicking the directions box and clicking on to and from, typing in the info there that I want to search on. I can also search based on where I am on the map for businesses or really anything. So if I search for restaurants here and hit the search button, I'll get several results, each one coded with a letter. I click on the results. I get info including a link to their website. So there's the website for a chef service as an example. And if I hit the play button, it'll actually tour me through these. I'm in touring mode right now. So I'm going to move from one result to the next so I can get a sense of the landscape, see where they are. If I want to stop it, I can stop it at any time. Okay, I think I'll stop it in just a couple seconds here. Alright, so we're out of touring mode. I can also collapse the panels that are on the left here. See, I collapsed the search panel, I collapsed the places panel. Gives me a little more screen real estate. And now I've restored them. Let's look at the places panel. So the places panel has some sample data in it. This sample data we can tour through. We can go through and look at the Grand Canyon, do a little sightseeing. The RMS, some ship. I'm having trouble seeing it. I'm looking at a very small display of this screen right now. And let's go to Paris. Let's look at the Eiffel Tower, and I'd like to stop here and get a closer look at some of the other features in here. So the Eiffel Tower is, you can see it there. Let's look at the navigational tools. These are on the right. We have zoom, zoom out, zoom in. We have the slider bar, which we can use to zoom out and zoom in. These are the pan tools here, and I can actually click and hold down over them and seamlessly move around, forward, backward, north, south, east, west. I can spin by going around the periphery of the top control there, and I can tilt by clicking on any of the arrows, and it will tilt me in that direction. So now I'm looking in 3D mode. I'm looking as if I'm up in an hot air balloon or an airplane or something. I can also hold down my shift key or my control key and get a finer control. So right now I'm holding down the control key. That allows me to adjust the pitch. So let's try to get a good side view of the Eiffel Tower. Notice that the Eiffel Tower is flat in this picture because this is just an aerial photo. The Google Earth landscape uses an elevation model worldwide, but everything appears flat unless you have three-dimensional models. Let's take a look at the Layers tab down below. Let's just first we'll fly right back down at the Eiffel Tower. And I'm going to collapse the search tab so we have a little room. The Layers tab is where there's a large list of content that Google publishes and makes available. Let's look at the 3D buildings. So here's a three-dimensional model of the Eiffel Tower. It's a full-scale model. A lot of these models have been developed by Google, but most have been developed by people like you and me. We'll learn how to do this in this class, but so the Eiffel Tower model was submitted to the 3D warehouse, and eventually it was accepted into the 3D buildings layer that we see here. We can even hide buildings if we want to. I won't hide the Eiffel Tower. We'll leave it. Let's take a look at some of the other content. We'll leave the 3D buildings on, and we'll look at Street View. So here's Street View. Many of you may have seen Street View in Google Maps. It's also in Google Earth. Wherever there is Street View available in Google Maps, you'll see it here in Google Earth. And it's kind of neat how it works. You get a little bubble here, and once you click on the bubble, it takes you right down into the street. Clicking on any of the camera icons will move you forward to that image. And the images have been blended so I can see at multiple angles. In this demo, I'm just showing how we're moving forward, but you can navigate in here much like you do in the regular Google Earth. This is really a different view. We have a slider bar so we can slide in. Notice how we have the photo above. And I'm going to come back out of the bubble. This is really a lot different than working in normal Google Earth. It's like a whole new world. Let's take a look at some of the other content. So I'm turning off a few things, and I'm turning on the roads. So we have streets with street names. We can turn that off. This top area here has all different types of content, including Panoramio, which is a website in which you can submit photos, and your photos eventually show up in Google Earth. So again, the layers, this is all content that we don't have direct control over. Google posts the info into this, but much of it is collected from information that people have contributed. Here's the weather layer. This is available worldwide. So I have the clouds on. Let's turn the clouds off so we can see the radar information, so we can actually see where there's precipitation. This is live. This is constantly being streamed and made available here in Google Earth. We're going to learn a little in this class about how we can tap into services like this and customize them. And here are many other types of content. There's so much. If you turn it on, in fact, you'll see all these icons popping up. Too much. Let's turn that off. Let's take a look at some of the other interesting features here. I'm not going to cover everything. We can turn on a simulation of the sun, so we can see a timeline. I just started the timeline, and the timeline's ticking away. So right now it's nighttime here in the Western Hemisphere, but we can see as sunrise ticks on through various parts of the world. The time that's displayed above I've set to be Eastern Time, US, so no matter where I go in the world, that time's going to show me what time it is where I am. I can adjust the speed. So let's just adjust the speed so we can have a really quick day here. Go right through night, right back into day. We'll pause it. Turn the sun back off. We can do measurements. Here we'll just do a linear measurement in miles. It's good for a quick, simple measurement. We can change units, so we can change to meters or kilometers or smoots. You see that in the list? Smoots? Yeah, I'll give you a link to what smoots are all about, but that's actually a measure, not commonly used. Let's just take a look at some of the other buttons. I'm not going to get deeply into these. So we can turn off all the panels to the left, we can turn them back on. Place marks, polygons, paths, and image overlays. These are all things we're going to learn about throughout this class. Right in Google Earth you can create content, and that's those are the tools you'd use for doing that. We're not going to learn about that just yet, though. We'll keep this introductory. Finally, one thing I want to show here is you can get into Google Maps at the same location that you're at in Google Earth by clicking on the Google Maps button. That's the one on the far right I just clicked on. So anyway, that concludes our demonstration of Google Earth. From here, we're going to move forward and learn a whole lot more about KML